And welcome to the Marcus and Mike show, guys, where Marcus is still recovering from the loss from last night. So I have to go ahead and bring Marcus in right off the bat here. Marcus, sorry about your loss, man. I know it's heartbreaking, uh, but we live and learn, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bill O'Brien, I don't want to fire him, but man, it's the same thing over and over. The offensive line, he is not protecting. He's got to move Deshaun around because the offensive line is about as good as your high school team. 5A, 6A. I mean, they probably can hold up a little better than that. I mean, it's bad. And then let me tell you where Bill O'Brien ultimately lost the game. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Deshaun Watson, they throw the touchdown to Kenny Stills.
Mm-hmm.
37. There's 37 seconds left on the clock, right? Deshaun Watson's an absolute beast. Dials 30. Brees has 37 seconds left, right?
Right.
Okay. They kicked it deep, and they just went ahead and let Brees walk out to the 25-yard line. Taking off the clock, he still had 37 seconds. What you do in that situation, dumbass Bill O'Brien, you have your kicker straight up in, not a touchback, where it comes down. And this is good for you, Michael, too. You're coaching.
Right.
You don't kick it deep and then just let them then get to the 20. In the NFL's case, the 25 now. You kick in the and your coverage team gets kicked. You have that ball drop to like the 5 or the 10-yard line, and then you play good coverage on the kick, and it takes off about 9-10 seconds.
Right.
So
You're
now
100%
Drew
right.
Brees only has about 27 seconds. He doesn't have the full 37. If Bill O'Brien does that, right,
Right.
Texans won. Texans will win that game.
Well,
He went ahead and booted it out of the end zone, gave Brees the ball at the 25-yard line, no time taken off the clock with the full 37 seconds. He lost the game on not making that decision.
Well, before we get too carried away into that game, it is Tuesday, so it is trivia day. So let's go ahead and
Huh?
start off with some trivia. Marcus, a disclaimer: I've not asked you these questions or prepped you like
Oh,
at all. I literally just pulled them up on my phone. I typed in NFL trivia, and this is what we got. So, are you ready?
ready. Yeah, I have no idea what you're going to ask me.
First question: In 1993, what NFL team made offseason trades for Joe Montana and Marcus Allen?
Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, that one was pretty easy.
You're lobbing me softball. You're lobbing me a 50-mile-per-hour softball.
Yep, exactly. Perfect. So, what team originally named what team was originally named the New York Titans?
Ooh, that's a good one. Was it the New? I thought you were going to ask me who was the Dallas Texans. They became the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. That's pretty
Right.
funny.
Yep.
Um, Man, I don't know the New York Jets. I don't know that one. That's pretty good. I know I wasn't around for the Titans. The what was it? The New York
The
Titans.
New York Titans.
Man, I don't know the New York Jets. I have no. That's a good one. When you tell me, I might go, oh yeah, but I guess man the Jets. I'm not sure.
Well, you are 100% correct. It was the New York Jets. In
Wow.
in,
Okay.
in 1963, Stony Wembler changed the name to the New York Jets. So,
Right.
what team won three Super
Wow. Okay. So I'm
Bowls?
2 for 2.
Yeah.
I guess that one.
And here's another 40 mile an hour fastball. What team won three Super Bowls in 1990s?
Really?
Question number three on the site.
Of course. Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys. They were the first team to win 3 out of 4, and then New England won 3 out of 4 in the early 2000s.
Okay, so here's a little harder one. This
Okay.
this 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 is predates my time watching NFL. But who was the first player to rush for 1,000 yards in one season? Joe
Whoa.
Perry, Jim Brown, B.D. Feathers, or Steve Van Bruyn?
I'll go Steve Van Buren on that one. It couldn't have been Jim Brown. There's got to be somebody rushing for 1,000 yards before Jim Brown. I don't know.
So Steve
Van Buren.
Steve Van Buren is incorrect. So
Who was it?
it is B.D. Feathers was the correct answer. He
See,
and it was in
yeah.
1934. He rushed for 1,004 yards with only 119 carries, 18.4 yards or 8.4 yards a carry.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I did not know that. Okay.
So
I
here's
knew it couldn't have been Jim Brown
yeah,
because Jim Brown, you know what I mean? Somebody had to rush for 1,000 yards before 1960.
right. So here's another easy one I think for you. Which NFL team logo features a helmet logo only on one side of their helmet?
I'm not good with like the jerseys and the pants and the helmets. I really am not. Like that's not my specialty. I'm more into.
So
Uh,
here is the four options here. We
yeah.
had the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins, or New England Patriots.
Wait, Miami. I don't even know. To be honest, is it showing the helmet?
Yeah. So the correct answer is the Steelers. They only have they have the
Yeah.
three stars on the
Okay.
side and the Steelers on the
Oh,
side.
and it's all black on the other side.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So there's no. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not good with it, man. People are worried about like what's on the helmet and the uniforms, man. I'm one of those guys, man. Just issue the shit and let's go. Let's go play.
Okay, so the final question for today, since we are kind of been hard on Lamar Jackson, like a little bit here, people said he's had the best passer rating, etc., for a 21-year-old. But what rookie quarterback holds the NFL record for the best passer rating? Is it RG3, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, or Dan Marino?
It's either Dan Marino or Dak Prescott, and I'll go Dak.
Yeah, you are 100% correct. Dak did finish his rookie season with the 104.9 passing
Yeah.
record, breaking RG3's record set in 2012 with the 102.4.
Okay.
So,
And then let me just tell all the Dak haters that the Dak Prescott has one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in the history of pro football. I think it's second only to Aaron Rodgers.
so you want a bonus question?
Sure.
What is the oldest NFL franchise to continuously operate in the same location with the same name? Is it the Green Bay Packers, Cleveland Brown, Arizona Cardinals, or the Chicago Bears?
Chicago Bears. I'll go Chicago.
The Chicago Bears is incorrect.
Wow.
The correct answer is the Green Bay Packers. They were founded in
Okay.
1919 and joined the NFL in 1921.
The Bears couldn't have been that far behind because the
Right.
Bears and Packers rivalry has been going on since the 20s. So
Yes.
the Bears are like right there.
If
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, the Bears were founded in 1920, so just a year
So
before
yeah, they're
that.
right there. I
So
mean, yeah.
So, guys, that is Marcus's knowledge there. A little bit of trivia right off the top of the dome. Marcus is a very smart individual, as you guys can tell. With that being said, we got to talk about the Houston Texans now. The Saints beat the Houston Texans last night, 30-28, with a game-winning field goal from 58 yards. Like you were alluded to earlier, Drew Brees got the ball with 37 seconds left, drove down the field to about I believe, like the 40, kicked the game-winning field goal. I know this pains you because you are a Houston Texans fan. You are a season holder for the Houston Texans. But is there some shedding of the light? Like, is there a silver lining in this game for Houston Texans?
Yeah, I slept on it last night, and I really don't see if they can get better protection, which is a little hard. Listen, Laramie Tunsil just got there. So if the line improves, which I think they will improve, and they ran the ball okay,
Yep.
the Texans have a chance to be easily top 5 offensively explosive.
Their offense is amazing.
I mean, really, they got down to like the 42 and where they lost the game is in the third quarter. They got down to like the 42-yard line and the 43-yard line, and then he gets sacked. They can correct that. Literally, Deshaun Watson can throw for 4 touchdowns a night easily. I'm not joking. Like they can move the ball about as well as anybody in football. And yes, if they can do that to the Saints, and they should have beaten the Saints last night, I don't really see anybody on the schedule like they're going to be scared of. Even when they go to Kansas City. Now, circle that game, Michael. That game's going to be absolutely fun.
Yes.
That's going to be fun because, you know, I like Kansas City. They're my pick to go to the Super Bowl now, but they don't even have the pass rush the Saints have. So Deshaun's going to have a little more time and that thing's going to be a shootout of epic proportions because the Houston Texans secondary is young and new and inexperienced. And so Mahomes is going to take advantage of that, just like Drew Brees. Drew Brees threw for almost 400 yards last night.
Yep,
Mahomes will do the same thing.
370.
Yeah. Mahomes will throw for 404 touchdowns, not 370 and 2 touchdowns like Brees.
Right.
I'm not like Mahomes is just a better version of Drew Brees, and that's just a bottom line. Yeah, there is a silver lining. I didn't think about any silver linings last night. If you'd have caught me last night, we would have had a different show.
Right.
I was just upset at O'Brien for kicking the ball deep and then putting Drew Brees at the 25-yard line with 37 seconds left. That really bothered me. So yeah, listen, Deshaun Watson can't. We're already starting off bad. I mean, I think it's going to get better. It better get better.
Yeah, it has to get better.
He was touched the same thing last year in last night's game. He was touched or had to move around about 60 to 70% of the time. That cannot continue, man. This he won't even finish the season. I'll be watching AJ McCarron. Actually, no, I won't be. I won't be going to those games. I'm selling my tickets. Because Deshaun Watson is the real deal. Like, think about that. Like, I mean, we laugh about it, and it's true. Like, you're laughing because think about if Mahomes went down,
right,
and then you got to watch the backup. People, the Kansas City Chiefs season ticket holders, some of them will be like, "Hey, you want to go to the game? Want to go to the game? I'm not going." It's just that bad. Like, you just don't even want to watch that crap.
Pump those brakes a little bit. Kansas City Chiefs fans, we are ride or die. We're there no matter what. So it could be. Let me put an example out for you. Matt Castle. Do you remember Matt Castle? Had that one crazy year with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs signed him to like $67 million deal, and place was still sold out. And Matt Castle, that's a trash quarterback right there.
Yeah.
But let me just add to your thoughts here a tad bit. Watson was sacked 6 times this past night. The previous year, I believe he was sacked 70 times. So this cannot be a continuous trend.
Yeah.
Because look at that talent that he has around him. With the addition of Kenny Stills to this team, this Houston offense scares me. Because people are saying the Patriots are unstoppable, the Eagles are unstoppable, the Chiefs are unstoppable on the offensive side. Houston is going to be unstoppable. You give Kenny Stills a couple more weeks into that offense, and gets that gelling happening with that quarterback. You give Watson, so he got sacked 6 times this past night. You cut that in half to just 3 sacks a game. This offense is unstoppable. You cannot beat Watson on air. You cannot beat him on the ground. It is going to be deadly to watch. And you are exactly right. This Kansas City Houston game, if this game was at Houston, it would be even that much more impressive because it's going to be warmer. Houston plays in like a dome, right?
Yes.
So you'll be on turf, so it'd be that much faster. The only thing that might slow this Houston Kansas City game down in a few weeks is it might be raining, it might be snowing, and then the grass. So that's the only thing that would downplay this game whatsoever.
Listen, if Deshaun Watson had the Cowboys offensive line or the Colts offensive line,
anybody but the Houston line, right?
Huh?
Anybody but the Houston line.
Yeah. Hell, if they had the Kansas City Chiefs line, literally, I'm not joking, man. Deshaun Watson might score every possession.
Yeah. And
the only thing that stops Deshaun Watson, he's getting sacked.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And the only thing that's lacking on this Houston team, which is still hard coming off the tongue, is their defense is kind of questionable. They pretty much let Drew Brees drive down the field on them, and it was kind of tough to watch. It was because this is not the Houston defense that I've grown to like over the last 5 or 6 years, and that's kind of tough. But Houston fans, Marcus, do not freak out. You guys lost to probably the second best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Come on.
I agree. I was freaked out a little bit how they lost, but no, I mean, the Texans are still going to go 11-5, and this is just a hard pill to swallow. This is just one of those 5 games.
Yeah. And now as a Saints fan, I kind of got to hit the panic button a little bit. Maybe not hit it, but have my hand close to it, because Drew Brees did not look like Drew Brees in that first quarter. He looked pretty rusty, looked pretty old. So, I mean, yes, in the second half he did look more like Drew Brees. He did end up throwing for 370 yards for 2 touchdowns and an interception. Pretty good day stat
Yeah.
wise, but the age might be catching up with Drew Brees. So if Drew Brees has if he gets sacked or hit at a lock at all, this could be the beginning of the end for him early in this year. So with all that being said, there was a second Monday night game as well. The Oakland Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos. All the turmoil surrounding AB. We both had Broncos winning that game, and we both lost. The Raiders come out on top. I believe the score was 24-16. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, we both had it wrong because we thought maybe the noise might affect. They blocked out the noise.
Yeah.
The Oakland Raiders. All the outside crap, they just went ahead. They showed they're a band of brothers and they just played football. And I figured that could happen. If that happened, then I figured the Raiders would win. I just didn't. They're the Raiders, man. I thought it'd be a bunch of penalties and all that stuff would distract him. Give credit to Mike Mayock and John Gruden. That noise did not. They blocked out that noise again. That nothing affected them last night. They just went out there and played football, and they played good, sound football.
Yeah.
And I knew that Tyrell Williams was a big signing from the San Diego Chargers. I mentioned that on many occasions. I told people you better take him in fantasy, and I don't care if Antonio Brown's there or not. Antonio Brown will be getting double coverage, and Tyrell Williams will still be getting the football.
Yeah.
Now Tyrell Williams is the main option. So he's 6'4". That's one of David Carr's. You throw it up to him, and Tyrell Williams will go get it. And he had a good night last night. I love the running back. We've been talking about him since the draft. The kid Jacobs out of Alabama. He's not in that Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley. He's in that. You know how we put quarterbacks in tiers.
Right.
Well, Jacobs is in the second tier. You know what I mean? Like right below those top. He's in that second tier, and he'll eventually. I don't think he'll ever be that first tier, but that second tier is a good place for him, and that's a good running back. And, man, on the flip side of that, Denver and Flacco and all that, John Elway. Listen, it's hard to get mad at Elway in terms of the team he's put together. He already won a Super Bowl with the defense he put together.
With Peyton Manning, though.
Yeah, but with Peyton Manning, in that season, Peyton Manning threw 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. They almost won in spite of Peyton Manning.
Right.
But Peyton Manning didn't screw up the postseason. So they needed – Peyton Manning became Trent Dilfer.
Right.
He just didn't screw it up. So which is a good thing, okay? But what I'm saying about John Elway, the good, is he's won a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl as a player and as an executive.
Right.
That is hard to do.
Very.
That being said, he has a Michael Jordan syndrome of – you think like Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, you think he could figure out a roster and figure out somebody that could play like him or be close to him?
Show some talent.
Yeah. Pick some talent. What the hell is John Elway doing at his quarterback position? I got a better chance at my daughter picking quarterbacks for him in the draft and free agent. I'm not joking. My daughter could probably look at the stats and go, "Hey, Dad, here's a free agent, 94. Let's sign him." This guy cannot get it right with quarterbacks, man. I mean, dude, get a franchise quarterback or something.
Yeah.
Because I have never been impressed with Joe Flacco. Never, ever. I argue with dumb football fans. I don't know why I do it. It's just, I guess I have a disease. People tell me that Flacco's better than Romo because he has a Super Bowl. Like, that might be the stupidest thing. You know what I mean? Like, you have a Super Bowl, so you're just automatically better than a guy who didn't.
Right.
Well, if that was, I mean, how stupid is that? That means Eli Manning is like twice as better as Aaron Rodgers because he's got 2 and Aaron's got 1. Is that what that means?
Famer, right?
Yeah. But the logic in that, Eli's, from what people tell me, since Flacco has a Super Bowl, right, and Romo doesn't, Flacco's way better than Romo, right? Like, okay, so if Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls, their logic, and Aaron Rodgers has 1, Eli Manning is twice better than Aaron Rodgers. That's the stupidity of the logic. I mean, that's the stupidity. I mean, it's stupid. Flacco is, and I think I told you this before in the offseason, they won the Super Bowl, and then the next year, you think, oh, Flacco's a champion. Pay him. They paid him. He lost to Anquan Boldin, who we threw a lot of jump balls to.
Yeah.
Anquan Boldin came up with every jump ball that Flacco just threw up for grabs, right?
Right.
The next year, Anquan Boldin leaves in free agency. Flacco leads the league in interceptions. That's not a coincidence. Flacco's average. He's as average as Eli Manning is.
Yeah.
And they have Super Bowls. And our guy Romo, who's got more talent in his feet and arm and legs than Eli Manning and Joe Flacco will ever have. And that guy didn't get to an NFC Championship game. That's more on the organization than the individual. But yeah, I've never been impressed with Flacco. You saw it last night. I mean, that's not impressive. Um, and we were also, man, I got to give that Oakland offensive line a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, they didn't touch Carr. You could have played the game at quarterback, and your jersey, your shirt, your polo shirt would have been looking good.
Right.
Like, they didn't touch Carr. So hats off to Oakland Raiders for blocking out the noise and just playing good, solid football. John Gruden, I give him a lot of shit for last year, but you got to give him credit at least for game one.
Yeah, I hear everything you are saying, but as a professional athlete, this stuff happens all the time. So you are immune, or you're trained to once Sunday hits or once Monday hits, it is game time. You put on those shades, and you block out everybody, and you do what your job is intended. But with all that being said, what really helped the Oakland Raiders this game was Antonio Brown not being there for preseason, not being there for the off season, because they didn't get used to him pulling the safety over. They did not get used to them double teaming him and other guys being wide open. So they learned how to play as the team they are. Even though all that drama was still happening, they probably knew in the back of their heads that, hey, AB is not going to be here because of all this shit that is happening. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But with all that being said, Oakland doesn't scare me still. With Antonio Brown, they scared me a little bit as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Week 2, I cannot pick Oakland to beat Kansas City like I originally had. I just cannot do it because AB does add that much of a dynamic to that team. What you guys don't understand, when you have a supreme talent like Antonio Brown on the field, this does open up the running game. It opens up the passing game because there are 2 players on him at pretty much at all times. So now let me flip over to the Broncos a little bit. I'm glad you brought up John Elway. I have a lot of friends that are Broncos fans because I am from Kansas, and we're kind of right in the middle of Chiefs or the Broncos. So I have a lot of Broncos fans. People praise John Elway still to this day about how great he is, how awesome he is. So John Elway can strike out 3 or 4 more times on a quarterback, and he will still be the greatest thing to walk this earth in those people's eyes. With all that being said, how do you strike out? Well, this is his 6th quarterback that he's been through. And how do you not find one? The one person that they thought was going to be a quarterback got traded to Houston, signed a great big deal, and he was a total flop, and then came back to them, which was really awkward. But it's just, I don't understand. Like just like you said, I'm sure your daughter, my wife, my sister could at least find 1 out of 10. I mean, that's a 10%. He is 0%. The only way you could say he found a quote unquote quarterback was he had an aging Peyton Manning, which like you said, he threw for 7 touchdowns and 19 interceptions. So even then, that was
9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Yeah,
like even then, that was a dud. That was a flop. You struck out on Peyton Manning. Like, come on. Like, what is? I don't understand this. So let me ask you this: if you are the owner of the Denver Broncos, do you get John Elway out of there, or you just let him still kind of lead the way?
No, I mean, listen, he won a Super Bowl. Listen, he got to another Super Bowl, and then the Legion of Boom just absolutely destroyed Peyton Manning that game.
Right.
Yeah, I know you remember that Super Bowl. I mean, it was supposed to be a highly competitive Super Bowl, and then Peyton Manning's throwing interceptions, and they're going the other way.
I believe it was the very first snap of the game. The ball went over Peyton Manning's head. And it was a safety or a touchdown. Or something.
And it was bad. It was bad. Yeah. No, I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. You have to give him a shot. Let's see what Drew Lock has. Joe Flacco goes out there, and let me tell you something. They're playing Khalil Mack and the boys next week.
Yeah.
So another stinker by Flacco, and I don't know. I don't. You're 0-2 now. 0-2 is staring you in the face. Khalil Mack is staring at you in the face. Um, Leonard Floyd. Those guys can rush the passer there in Chicago. Um, you're at 0-2. I don't know if you want to get to 0-3 before you see what you have in Lock. Maybe Drew Lock, their second round pick, 40th, 41st overall selection, something like that. But you're gonna have to see what you have in Drew Lock. You can't let the thing get to 0-4.
Well,
Uh,
I think there's some stat up there that if you start off 0-3, you have like a 5% chance of making the playoffs, and there's only been two teams ever to make the playoffs after an 0-3 start, if I'm not
and
mistaken.
and 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 you know me and my trivia. You know, it's up here. I know the two teams: 1992 Chicago, San Diego Chargers with Bobby Ross and Stan Humphries. Bobby Ross was the coach, and Stan Humphries was the quarterback. The San Diego Chargers started out 0-4, and then went 11-5. The Houston Texans started out 0-3 last year, went 11-5.
There you go.
But all that being said, though, the Chargers and the Texans, they spent all that energy trying to come back from the 0-3 and 0-4 deficits that they sucked in the playoffs.
Right.
So yeah, you don't want to start out 0-3 and 0-4. You gotta see what you have in Drew Lock. I don't think they let it get to 0-4 before they bring in Drew Lock if Flacco is playing bad.
So what if Flacco is playing average? Do you keep him in there, or do you try to make a push to make it to the playoffs, or are you satisfied for tanking this year and just letting Drew Lock have his redshirt year and like learn the game?
No. If Flacco is not the issue and he's just kind of average, I mean, it all depends on the record. If Flacco is average and we're 5-5, that means after 10 games, that means that we're still in the hunt. I would keep playing Flacco. But you start out 0-3, getting to 5-5 is a chore, and then after the Bears, they're at Green Bay. So
Tough.
this thing, and then Jacksonville's defense. This thing doesn't get any easier. And then at San Diego, I don't see any wins there, man.
0-5, 0-6 starts. That is a tough sledding there.
Yeah.
And I think their bye week is fairly early, like week 7,
Yeah.
I think it is. So if Flacco can make it to week 7, that would be positive for Drew Lock, just so he can get a full week of being the starter to prepare,
Right.
sorry, a full 2 weeks to be the starter and prepare. That would be
Right.
ideal, I think, situation for John Elway and the Broncos. But with all that being said, the biggest news of the past Saturday, past Sunday, last night, you can even say is Antonio Brown to the Patriots. I am starting to hear all these conspiracy rumors, which I am a big conspiracist. I like reading into that kind of thing, and people are saying that AB never wanted to play to Oakland, but that's where he could get the most money, and all this time he was going to try to get his way out of there. Do you think that is a truth behind that at all?
No, absolutely not, because he was already going to be paid that $30 million regardless of where he was traded. He's a clown show. He went over there and they thought they were getting one thing and they got another thing. They thought they were getting this hard worker and he comes to practice. And you did. I saw AB practice a couple of times. He was running routes real hard. If you were just trying to bluff and not stay at Oakland, you wouldn't even take the chance of hurting your Achilles or spraining your ankle or hurting a hamstring.
Right.
He'd have sat at home and acted like a knucklehead. But he showed up a few times and he was running routes with the Raiders and all that stuff. He wouldn't even have done that. The man's just a knucklehead, man. I mean, with the feet issue, then the helmet issue, and then just the way he's wired, man. And you knew the Raiders were going to find him. The Jerry Jones would have fined him. It's standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
He has to get fined that $55,000 or whatever it was. The Dolphins would have fined him. Bill Belichick would have fined him. $55,000 to somebody that's going to make $30 million in the next 2 years is like fining you $5, Michael.
Right.
Me $2. Me $10. I don't know, but it's close. You just go ahead and you say, you know what? Okay, here's your $55,000. Now I'm going to go play with my guaranteed money. No, the clown show didn't do that. He went in there and called Mike Mayock a cracker, yelled at him, recorded Gruden on social media, Gruden's conversation without his knowledge. Clown.
Right.
Complete clown show. He's a moron. I wouldn't want him anywhere near me. I wouldn't want him talking to my kids. Like, I know I hate to put him in that, like he's some pedophile. Like, I don't want him talking to my kids. I don't want my son learning anything from this freaking moron. I told my wife the other day, I said, I hope he doesn't have any kids, man. Oh, man, he's got like 4 boys.
Really?
I mean, really, what are they going to learn?
Right.
They're going to learn to be clowns. And guess what? It's going to be harder on them. You know why, Michael? They're going to learn to be rich clowns.
Yeah.
So this is a clown show, and he is going to a New England Patriot. He is going to a team for the first time in his career, Michael. Guess what? That doesn't need him.
Right.
He can walk in, as talented as he is, right? And the offensive lineman or anybody can tell him, hey, what's up, Antonio? Man, hey, you can help us score more points. We don't need you, but, hey, you can help us score. You can make it easier.
Yeah. We saw that on Monday, on Sunday night, that the Patriots don't need him at all.
It'd be like me and you in the hot tub in the sauna, man, in California, and we got 3 girls there, models, and we're okay, right? We got 3 or 4 of them, and then a couple of more walk in. We don't need y'all, but hey, y'all can join.
Right. That's 100% correct.
So our wives might have something to say about it, but hey, we wouldn't complain for a little while.
Right.
Yeah, no, but they don't need him. They don't need him, and that's gonna be weird to watch. Maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs to go to a team where, hey, they don't really need me. I'm just gonna run routes and catch touchdowns.
Yeah.
See what they'll win games. With AB is a luxury. They'll win games now, 45-10 instead of 35-10. He'll catch a touchdown, and you know what I mean. He'll be a fantasy. But they have Josh Brown. I'm still thinking they're gonna miss Gronk a little bit because think about it, Josh Brown and Antonio Brown are little. They're small receivers. Brady doesn't have the 6'5" guy to chunk it to. Oh, and Dorsett is little.
Yeah.
They got little. They're like 5'9" and 5'10", man. Brady's got to put that ball in the money, and they have to use their speed. You know what I mean? To get open. That's fine. They have a tremendous amount of speed, but he doesn't have. That's why N'Keal Harry, their first round pick, is a big deal. He's like 6'3", from Arizona State. Like he didn't play. I think he's going to be on the shelf for a few weeks.
Yeah. So
I think there might be some games where Brady's going to miss a security blanket, somebody 6'5" to throw to. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be, it's not like they still can win the Super Bowl without Gronk because they're just that talented. And man, did you watch James White for New England the other day?
Yes. Wow.
That little out of Wisconsin?
Yes.
Man, he's like Darren Sproles. Brady's in trouble. James White is his security blanket. Yeah. He just throws it to little James White, and James White, boom, boom, gets 10 yards.
Yeah, the Patriots, if they can repeat half of what they did on Sunday, there's no stopping them at all. But speaking of the Antonio Brown situation, I don't listen to Stephen A. Smith all that much, but I saw a snippet of him talking about the Antonio Brown, and I couldn't agree more with him whatsoever. Now, I'm not a black man at all, but Stephen A. Smith, when he said if any other black man would do this, their careers, their lives would be over. And I'm going to elaborate on that even more. If a white person, if anybody besides Antonio Brown would have done what he done, their career would have been over. I don't care how big of a superstar you are. There are only a handful of people. I'm talking like 6 or 7 people that could have acted like that and still got a job. Just like how quickly Antonio Brown did. With that being said, I do not anticipate him finishing the season with the New England Patriots. I give him till about week 10 or week 11 when he's not getting the ball as much as he thinks he should, as he's not getting touchdowns like he thinks he should. He is going to have some type of locker room breakdown. Actually, it is not going to be a locker room breakdown. It is going to be a Twitter breakdown. He is going to go and tweet and say, who wants me? I can score you guys 6 touchdowns in a game. The minute he pushes sends, 55 seconds later, the ownership, the general manager of the Patriots will be like, you know what? Pack your bags. You are out of here. So I don't see Antonio Brown at all finishing the season with the New England Patriots. They
Yeah.
say winning cures all. This case, it is not going to cure anything. And like Antonio Brown's going to want the ball more, and he's not going to get it because Tom Brady is a facilitator. We've seen this. He finds a guy, and he goes does his thing. Um,
Right.
look at when Randy Moss joined the Patriots. We all thought, oh, this is going to be freaking amazing. You have the Randy Moss with Tom Brady. They're going to score 100 touchdowns, yada yada yada. I think Randy Moss was cut by week 7. So just people pump the brakes
Wait,
about
wait.
the whole
Who?
AB thing.
Oh, Randy Moss was cut by the Patriots. You're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, Randy Moss also set a record with the Patriots. Randy Moss, as
I'm
big a
talking about the
distraction
following
as he
year.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's not Antonio Brown. At least Randy Moss is a little bit different. Now he's a little more old school. Yeah. He was a knucklehead at times. Terrell Owens was the ultimate knucklehead, but this guy takes it to levels beyond belief. Odell Beckham is a complete knucklehead.
Yes.
He's wearing a $350,000 watch during the game or on the side. How stupid! Like,
I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't even know where to get into that. I mean, first of all, that could hurt somebody. Secondly, like if you're the coach, like, and you turn around, you saw your player with a $350,000 watch, son, take that off and go pawn it somewhere. Nobody, you're not a billionaire. Like, yeah, you may have $10 million, but that's still like $350,000 watch. That's like, if I had, let me tell you something, Mike. If you gave me $10 million, you hit the lotto and you won $100 million, and you have the kindness of your heart, I don't think you're gonna. I think you would ever do this, but you gave me $10 million. The next show, I will not be showing you a $350,000 watch.
No.
You know what I mean? Like that's like a 5% of my money. Like I'm not gonna spend that on a watch. Like how
I
stupid
would probably buy a new computer and pay off my wife's car, and then
There you go.
and then
There you
like
go.
hoard the
And
rest.
then give your boy about 50 grand too. Yeah.
I got your back. Don't
Yeah,
you worry about
but-
that.
But and why I brought Odell Beckham into this is because these guys are complete knuckleheads, dude. And he's the same. In other words, I think Terrell Owens is a clown show as well, and
Yeah.
I think he's an idiot. All right, but man, it's pretty bad when you can make Terrell Owens and Randy Moss look like Chris Carter. Like, in other words, like these guys are just beyond the pale. And you know what? I'm gonna answer your question. What you're talking about. You don't think he's gonna make it through the season? I don't know that. Like, you probably are gonna be right. I don't want to predict that because they're just gonna keep winning. And how do you unless they start losing? But if they keep winning, I mean, how do you? If he says something stupid, he'll just be cut.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. Or he does something stupid. So you're right. I mean, he probably won't make it through the season. I won't predict that though because they're just so good. And you would think, what could he say? What could he do? They're sitting there. They're going to go 14-2. I mean, this sounds
Right.
crazy to me that but yeah. So I mean, your prediction. You know what? I wouldn't bet anything on it. But if somebody put a gun to my head and said, no, you have to make this bet, I'd go with your prediction that he won't make it through the season.
Let me ask you this question because you brought up Randy Moss and Terrell Owens and now Antonio Brown. It seems like once these players leave their original team, shit starts to hit the fan. So do you think these teams are covering up for these guys because hey, this is our franchise wide receiver, we need this guy, and then like once they go to the next place, they are so used into their old ways and they've been getting away with it, they want to ramp stuff up. Like, what do you think is going through their heads? Because Terrell Owens,
Yes.
like the whole sit-ups and push-up thing and the in his driveway, the Antonio Brown thing, it's just like, what do you think is going through their heads?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, let me answer your question, but I just got upset when you mentioned Terrell Owens. He said on Sunday Night Football that Jason Witten and Tony Romo are diagramming plays for themselves in the hotel room and they're leaving him out. Yeah, you fucking retard. Like, Tony Romo doesn't want to get the ball to you to win football games.
Right.
They're going to exclude you, one of the best wide receivers in football. How stupid does that sound coming out of your mouth? You're an idiot. Dude.
Right.
Like, I would have nothing. Like, idiot. Now to answer your question about the Antonio Brown thing. Yes, Mike Tomlin enabled him to be a knucklehead, and they tried everything they could to keep Antonio Brown. Yes, Roethlisberger had some faults in that relationship, but now we're looking. It's more Antonio Brown. They did everything they could to keep this idiot, this silly ass, and they finally couldn't take it anymore, and they let him. They traded him. Okay, so yes, so with that initial team, they did when these players are drafted by the organizations don't want to give up on these players, especially when they're as talented as Antonio Brown is. So they did everything in their power to keep him, but once he went, but they couldn't anymore. Surprised they kept him as long as they did. That was a long time.
Right.
But they got rid of him, and now Oakland had the headache, and now the New England Patriots will have the headache. That being said, New England won't have the headache. New England runs their ship a little bit like the Spurs to a certain extent. Now, the Spurs probably wouldn't even take Antonio Brown, but this is where New England and the Spurs are similar. You bring in a player like Antonio Brown, we're a machine. New England is an absolute machine. We're a system. We're the culture on Sunday. People follow us. That's how they think. They think their shit doesn't stink, and they just won a Super Bowl, so they might be right. So as soon as you do something or say something, you're done. He will get. In other words, Mike Tomlin gave Antonio Brown millions of chances, like you alluded to, because the original team was keeping. How many chances is Bill Belichick giving Antonio Brown?
Half a chance.
One.
Half a chance.
Yeah. You get okay. We'll go. I like yours better. We'll go half a chance. He better not jaywalk.
Yeah.
If there's one time where the plane's about to leave and Antonio Brown's putting on his gold chains and running, they may as well take off without him.
Yeah. Yeah. I can almost guarantee you the New England Patriots have some type of app out there that is on Antonio Brown's phone. As soon as he starts to type his tweet, they're going to call him up. Hey, man, if you push send, you were done. Think about it. So,
yeah,
I mean, it just baffles my mind that these professional athletes act like children. Like,
yeah,
it really upsets me. So, guys, with all that being,
just like his Twitter thing the other day, like he's calling his grandma, "I'm free, grandma, I'm free."
Yeah.
Like if you were somehow captured.
Yeah, like
I mean, what are you doing?
If you wanted to play in Oakland and you're calling and like doing? I'm free, like what? Like come on, man. Shut up.
They were about to pay you. Listen, yeah, it just bothers me. They were about to pay you $30 million, and I'm free, grandma. Like, man, that just tells you right there. And I told you a few days ago, he has no good woman behind him.
Yeah.
Because no woman is going to allow you to act like a clown show like that, unless she's also part of the clown show, which I think she is.
Yeah. And I hope his grandma would like grab him by his ear.
Yeah.
Antonio, what is wrong with you? Just she pulled out the switch and just like.
Nah, she won't do that. She's too busy getting money.
Right.
she's too busy having a good time, man. She's probably old and don't give a damn. Just send me my check.
All right, guys. But with all that being said, that's going to be it for today's show. Join us tomorrow. We're going to talk some college football. The new rankings come out. I think it's today. They come out. Yeah. We'll kind of break down our top 10 and see what Marcus thinks. So, guys, with all that being said, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on the iTunes, and we'll see you tomorrow.